One thing that both MLMs and strip clubs have in common is that you have to sell people on your story. Whether it's a real story or not, that's one thing they both got in common too, because people be lying. Oh, I have father issues. A damsel in distress, come and save me.
Gleeful Grails, double G's up, everything click.
I see your fetishization is rooted in the hypermasculinization of the black man. And I raise you the fetishization of hypermasculinity is rooted in the masculinization of the black woman. Contrary to popular belief, you can change your type. You can change what you're attracted to. If you do the work, you'll get to the point where what you used to be attracted to no longer appeals to you. It'll give you the ick. 2025, I need my girls to be having the ick. You need the ick from irresponsible, hypermasculine, abusive behavior for yourself and the partners that you choose.
All right, a little bit of house cleaning before we get started. For those who have been rocking with me from day one, I appreciate your support. For those who may be new here, coming in or out the door for me, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, get it cracking in the comments. Every bit of your engagement absolutely helps promote me into the YouTube algorithm. I thank y'all for the support. Now let's get to it. Drop the video. Let's go.
One thing that both MLMs and strip clubs have in common is that you have to sell people on your story. Whether it's a real story or not, that's one thing they both got in common too, because people be lying. When I was in an MLM, they would train all of their recruits to tell the story about like your humble life, your humble beginnings. Like you come from nothing and, if I can do it, so can you. A real victory story rooted in like family and good values. Same thing as a dancer, except, I have father issues. A damsel in distress, come and save me. And then they'll be like, I love saving hoes. That's my favorite thing to do.
Look, am I surprised that she worked for a pyramid scheme company? No, which is what MLMs oftentimes engage in. I've said it once and I'll say it twice. When a person is foul in one aspect of their life, they're probably foul in a number of aspects of their life. It's just what it is. And she's basically telling you how simps get finessed. They're selling you a story of a damsel in distress. They're selling you an image that is oftentimes not rooted in reality. So when you guys go to these strip clubs, when you guys go to these fans only sites and you're tipping these women and you're giving them all your money and she's pretending to be something she's not, what do you expect to gain from this? Like they're telling you, this is not the first video or the last video I'll see of an ex-worker telling men or telling people in general that, yes, we finesse you guys out of your money. And I'm not saying that some men who go into these spots don't understand what the game is, but there are a lot of guys who don't know what's going on. And they're going in here believing they can attain women like this, and you're being duped. You're being fooled. Stop wasting time with women who don't bring any value to you other than to suck you dry. Find a woman of character, values, and morals and build a life with her. Stop chasing sex. Stop lusting. Find a woman who desires you back and who has interest in you as much interest as you have in her. Those are what relationships are built off of. Now, if you want to go out here and just dip your stick in whatever and you want to pay for it, then hey, fine. Pay to play. But I don't want to hear any of you complaining later on that you got ran amok by this woman who sold you a story because you wanted to buy the story. Stop simping. Be a man. Find a woman who desires you as much as you desire her. End of story. But she's telling you how y'all get finessed.
Gleeful Grails, double G's up, everything click. Yeah. And they ain't pull out. Y'all see the look line?
Man, she looks bad. This is that Tommy chick from the Love and Hip Hop stuff. It just really shows you what happens when a woman starts to lose her looks. If you place value in your looks and your outer appearance only, and you don't build yourself up on the inside, then when you lose those looks, what do you have? What do you have to contribute to society? What do you have to contribute to a relationship other than your sexuality? And that doesn't last forever. And if you're willing to follow her example, then you're gonna have to do things like this late into your 40s. Because I know for a fact she's got to be in either her very late 30s or early 40s, and she still has to get on social media and bop it up, show off grills, and half naked, and it's not a good look for a woman of her age. It's just not a good look. Ladies, do yourself a favor. Don't solely invest time and energy into your outer appearance. Do the work on the inside, and you'll find someone that's willing to stick by you when both your looks and his looks fade. You'll have something real, you'll have something tangible, and you'll have stability in your life outside of what you're presenting to him and the rest of the world. Looks fade. Everything has an end point. Definitely your sexuality has an end point. Everyone needs to learn that time is short, life is short, and you have a small window to find something real. And if you are wasting your time with all this wows and woes of the world telling you that it's okay to be promiscuous, telling you it's okay to invest in your outer and not do the inner work, then you're going to be sad people with nothing stable in your life when you get old and need someone to pour medicine down your mouth or give you a cup of water or change your fucking diaper.
Best mac and cheese recipe you'll ever.
That is the worst and most horrible macaroni and cheese I've ever seen in my life. Who made that slop? Like, for real, that macaroni is so runny and liquidy that a spoon, it'll run off a damn spoon. A spoon. That is the grossest I've ever seen. Who made that macaroni? And why is the cheese burned on the top, but it's still liquidy? Like, ugh. Like, some of y'all, you need to find someone that loves you before you post this stuff and tell you that ain't it. That ain't it. That macaroni ain't it. That macaroni is horrible. Take that back to wherever you got it. I don't blame that chick. I would have threw it in the trash as well. Horrible looking macaroni.
I see your fetishization is rooted in the hypermasculinization of the black man. And I raise you the fetishization of hypermasculinity is rooted in the masculinization of the black woman. So for this example, we're going to use Miss Mamas, who's a nurse, and she is dating the hypermasculine bum. How did this happen? We live in a society, and as a society, we associate certain traits with masculinity. Some of those traits include being responsible, being driven, being loyal, being ambitious, being orderly, being structured. We associate these are masculine traits. When in actuality, everybody has masculine and feminine traits. The problem that we're running into, we've gone a step further, and they've associated those things with gender. People have now gone ahead and started associating masculine traits with men. So society has done a really horrible job at masculinizing the black woman who is independent. And in actuality, she's just being an adult. She's being responsible for herself. She's being responsible for her livelihood. She's behaving the way that an adult should, but we've gone ahead and we've done this terrible thing where we've associated that with being masculine. And this terrible thing that has happened almost exclusively to black women. You think about a Tommy Lauren, who is a political pundit, who would have had to have exhibited all of those traits: the desire to be successful, ambition, responsibility, loyalty, all of these things. But you would not associate her with being masculine. But that's what we did to the black woman. The very same traits that other people are celebrated for, black women are demonized for. And thus we are seeing a sharp overcorrection. You're telling this person, this group, that you're masculine. And so they're seeking out the stereotype of hyper-masculinity to offset their quote-unquote perceived masculinity.
Let me stop you right there. First and foremost, I think it's babble, because the problem that black women are having with being called masculine is they don't know how to turn it off. Every human being possesses masculine and feminine traits, right? No one is denying that. But the problem with modern black women is that you don't know when to turn it off. You're masculine not only when you're supposed to be masculine, when you're in the job market competing for income and a level of livelihood. That's fine. You can be as masculine as you choose in that field because you're supposed to be competitive. You're supposed to wage your skill set for a higher wage. The problem with modern black women is they don't turn it off. They bring that hyperaggression into all aspects of their life, not just their job or career, but they bring it into their relationship. So it's one thing to put it in your that hypermasculization in your career, in your job. It's another thing entirely to put it in your relationship. And that's the problem black women are having. They put their hypermasculization in their relationship. She knows it, she's being disingenuous. But let's continue.
And so this is your bum who will fly off at the handle, who makes her feel safe because my man won't let anybody disrespect me, because that's what we specifically have associated masculinity with: being loud, being brash, being pop-offish, you know. And this works really, really well in the club. When a man pushes you or pulls something and your man is with you. And
let me stop her right there too. Women have this horrible perception of masculinity. They have a perception of what's called pseudo masculinity. No one ever said that a man being loud, brash, rude, or disrespectful is a sign of masculinity. No, that's what y'all perceive as masculinity because you don't understand masculinity. Any man that's loud, rude, brash, overly aggressive with other men will find himself in the grave, because men understand we have always a low level of violence threats towards one another. So we're not going to be loud, brash, aggressive with one another just for the sake of it and say, oh, that's my masculinity, because that could end you. This is what women perceive as masculinity because women don't understand it. And she's clearly showing on this video, she doesn't understand masculinity because no one said that is a purely masculine. Those things are purely masculine attributes. Those things are kind of toxic. And those things in the most environments are not healthy. Examples of masculinity. They're really dysfunctional forms of masculinity that women, for some reason, flock to. It's funny how they always flock to the dysfunctional, abnormal traits of masculinity, but never the good ones.
he doesn't have that. You know, he beats him into a pulp. That's my man, my man, my man, my man. The problem is this particular brand of masculinity is very inflexible and it doesn't work everywhere. While it may work in the club or, you know, in a pop-off type situation, not every situation requires a hammer. How well does that masculinity translate over when you're trying to get a mortgage for a house, or you have to get to your child's doctor's appointment? When you need someone reliable, when you need someone responsible, when you need someone who's going to show up for you, when you need someone to be there for you instead of take your car and leave you stranded while you're at work. So there needs to be a rebrand of masculinity in our community. We've done a terrible thing and we've associated masculinity with the spreading of your seed to as many women as possible without any responsibility to the lives that you're creating. We need to unearth lack of attraction to healthy masculinity, because this same woman would probably encounter healthy masculinity and be like, oh, I'm not attracted to that, he's too soft, but he would be there for you. He would never.
That's because y'all don't value healthy masculinity. You're not sexually attracted to it. Let's stop the shit, lady. You're not sexually attracted to those guys. Why don't you concentrate on why you're not sexually attracted to healthy masculinity instead of trying to rebrand masculinity? Try that.
Leave you stranded. He would put you first. And so the bigger question to be had is, how do we get the purveyors of healthy masculinity onto the podcasts? Though, to keep it a buck, they probably don't have any time for podcasts because they're out being the guy. They're being the guy. They're not looking like the guy. They're being the guy. How do we get them front and center and give them a voice and allow and watch them lead by example? So how do we rebrand that? How do we undo that? And I think the answer is the same thing in my previous video: vulnerability. And so, dear Black woman, you're not masculine because you're responsible. You don't have to settle for a stereotypical form of hypermasculinity because you're a responsible adult. That hypermasculine person who's flying off at the handle can only protect you so much before he's behind bars. Long game here. We're trying to play the long game. And so if you're someone who finds yourself repeatedly attracted to people who aren't good for you, perhaps it's time to unpack that. It's time to do a little digging. And contrary to popular belief, you can change your type. You can change what you're attracted to. If you do the work, you'll get to the point where what you used to be attracted to no longer appeals to you. It'll give you the ick. 2025, I need my girls to be having the ick. You need the ick from irresponsible, hypermasculine, abusive behavior for yourself and the partners that you choose.
Again, at the end there, she did make sense. Changing what you're sexually attracted to. See, that's the problem. It's not what they're attracted to. It's what they're sexually attracted to. And this is the main key point that they keep running away from. They're not attracted to hyper masculinization based on just things like character, building, protecting, providing. They're sexually attracted to toxic masculinity because, and I know they love to obfuscate here and make this excuse that society has conditioned the black woman to be attracted to these things. No, I will wager the society that's conditioned black women to be attracted to toxic black men are in fact black women, other black women. The circle that y'all get into, the sisterhood circle that y'all congregate to, that tell each other that, oh girl, it don't matter. You know, you got to be attracted to a man first. You got to sexually desire him. That's all that matters. Y'all are teaching each other that sexual attraction is the main focus you should have in the very beginning. So if you're teaching others, i.e. other black women, that sexual attraction is the most important thing, the key element to why you should be with a man, then are y'all shocked and chagrined that y'all are going after these toxic men? Are y'all shocked and chagrined that y'all are finding these dysfunctional bums? If you're making sexual desire the tenement or the top priority of what you're seeking in men, I'm not surprised at all. Yeah, she said something very profound at the end that black women do have to change what they're attracted to, but I'll add this caveat: not what they're attracted to, what they sexually desire. Once black women can change their pathology to what they find sexually desirable, we won't have to have these conversations. We wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be in the situation we're in the black community if we changed black women's pathology to sexual desire. That's all I got, man. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, get it cracking in the comments. I'll see y'all in the credits. 2 fingers. Peace. Get y'all in the next one.
Like Jesus.
I don't ask for much from you. It's like you don't got the time to lose. Made me feel like I'm a burden when I tell you